County Health Department. So as we reported yesterday, we are currently investigating reports of illness that are possibly related to eating at Mighty Taco restaurants. So this is a very large investigation, and we're conducting this with the New York State Department of Health, the Niagara County Department of Health, and the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets. So at this time, we currently have 104 individuals who are reporting symptoms that are consistent primarily with nauseousness and vomiting after consuming refried beans from one of the 11 Mighty Taco locations in Erie County between the dates of September 27th and noon of October 6th of 2016. And so as this is an ongoing investigation, this is a moving target, and we assume that the numbers will change. Every day we're getting more reports, and every day there are more Mighty Taco restaurants involved. So again, this is a moving target. So as we currently speak, there are representative samples of some refried beans that are en route to the New York State Department of Health's Wadsworth Center in Albany for testing. So we don't know exactly what time the results will be available. These are very, very complicated tests. And so we believe results will not be available at least until the end of next week. But again, we're not really sure. It depends how easy it is to isolate the pathogen and how easy it is to grow the toxins if they are present. So again, this is a very complex investigation. So if there are Erie County residents who believe that they may have been involved with this illness, they can call the Erie County Health Department at 716-858-7697. So I am open for questions.
So refried beans is the suspected case at this point. It's not confirmed yet, even though
Right.
The company believes that's what it is. That confirmation is done only through testing, which is among the tests or samples that have been sent to Wadsworth, right?
Well, as I mentioned, this is a very intricate investigation. So we're not only looking at the microbiology of the possible refried beans, we're also looking at there are other foods that could possibly be involved, and that's why the epidemiologists, the investigators, are so important. So again, they have interviewed all 104 of these individuals and gotten a very detailed history of what they ate at the Mighty Taco, and so we're looking, and then now we have to correlate the people who fell ill and exactly what they ate and when they ate it, and if the restaurant was possibly serving the refried beans that were suspicious could have been implicated at that time. But many people were also at that time, ate cheese or sour cream or tomatoes or lettuce. So again, nothing is off the table. We are looking at all possible foods as suspects.
How seriously ill are any of the 104 people, and then how were you alerted?
Well, the good news is that people did not suffer very serious illness. What we're calling as a case definition is people who developed nauseousness and vomiting within 24 hours of eating at Mighty Taco. I mean, most people fell ill within a few hours of eating at Mighty Taco, and usually the nauseousness and vomiting, the vomiting lasted maybe 15, 30 minutes, and then they fell ill for the rest of the day. But the good news is there were no hospitalizations as a result of this illness that we're aware of.
Any specific diagnosis of what that is? I mean, I know it's nauseousness, vomiting, things like that. Is there any, or is that among the things that will be determined at Wadsworth, like what the specific virus it is, like rhinovirus or something?
Right. Well, this is when we see a very fast onset of illness after ingestion of contaminated food, possibly contaminated food. It's usually from a toxin that's secreted by bacteria. So again, that's what we're suspicious of, because that's what the natural history of somebody who ingests food that is contaminated by a toxin from bacteria. But again, that's why we really have the luxury of working with a very excellent lab, the New York State Department of Health Wadsworth's laboratory, and they have a great deal of experience being able to identify bacteria that has possibly contaminated food, and if they are able to identify the bacteria, they have been successful in the past of identifying identifying the endotoxin that can cause the illness. But again, this is a very, very complicated procedure, so don't expect to come to work on Monday and have the results available. It's a very difficult procedure to do.
11 locations is a lot more than the 4 originally reported by Mighty Taco yesterday. Why aren't those lists being disclosed, and how are they still open?
Well, first of all, again, we said this is a moving target. You know, every day we're receiving reports of people who have eaten at in a new Mighty Taco restaurant. So we're assuming that the contamination is really from a food product that was sent to Mighty Taco, and all the restaurants we're considering now equally at risk. We have gone to the Mighty Taco restaurants and inspected them, and Mighty Taco has taken some actions to try to ensure that their customers do not continue to become ill.
I still think people want to know where these are, especially since people reaching out to the media have highlighted specific locations. I would point out French and Transit in Dubuque.
Right. You know, again, we are considering all Mighty Tacos equally at risk.
What kind of cooperation are you getting from Mighty Taco?
They have been great partners in this investigation. They have been very cooperative with sharing all their data, and they actually do a very good job about being very careful and documenting how they handle food and how they prepare food, and they've shared all those records with us. So from the standpoint of collecting information from the restaurant, it's been a fairly easy process.
From a health concern, you know, we're joking out there, you know, if you don't go to fast food restaurants very often and you go on occasion, you don't feel well sometimes. When does it jump from the level of being just that to, you know, 104 people?
Right. Well, again, with this number of people who have been involved with a food-related illness that we're assuming, we know that it's more than just not eating something that agrees with you.
Are these beans provided by a purveyor, or does Mighty Taco make these beans themselves?
Right. They are shipped to Mighty Taco, and the Ag Markets is investigating that aspect of it.
So is there any concern that the beans might be going to non-Mighties in the area?
You know, we are concerned about that, but so far we have not received any reports from anywhere outside of Erie County and Niagara County in New York State. You know, Mighty Taco has other restaurants throughout New York State, and none of them have reported illness. And then also the New York State Department of Health has generated an alert, you know, to the rest of the health departments in the United States, alerting them to this problem. And so far they have not received any responses that any other locale in the United States is experiencing a similar illness.
Do we know who this third-party purveyor is, manufacturer, or if it goes beyond that?
Ag Markets is investigating that, so we're not involved with that aspect of the investigation. But
do you know what the...
No, I don't know offhand, but they're handling it because I think it goes to, you know, multiple locations. It's you know, beans are processed somewhere, and then they're stored somewhere and shipped somewhere, and then they're sent somewhere else. So the distribution is complicated, but again, with the health department, we don't have the authority over that chain.
Do you expect that it's a lot more than 104 people, since it's a pretty known thing that not everybody reports something that happens to them?
I assume that it is more than 104 individuals, and we'll have to wait and see the calls that we receive. But again, you know, the good news is that, you know, people feel miserable for a limited amount of time, and then everybody's recovered. No one has become so ill that they require a hospitalization.
All set, folks? All right, we'll see as many people at the budget hearing, right, Mark?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, not if you serve Mighty Taco.
I guarantee we won't serve. Thank you, Gail.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
All right, I'm going back to Thousand Island.
Thank you.
No, it's my turn to be at home. My husband's gone.